So Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and I was asked, do you think you could do Thanksgiving for 4 people for under 50 bucks? I said, you bet I can, because we were able to put all these beautiful items together, including a pumpkin pie with real whipped cream for dessert. Let's get cooking on this special Thanksgiving Cooking with Styles. I'm going to be working with a 12 to 14 pound bird. We're not going to stuff it. So we can season the inside, and I'm going to use kosher salt, and I want you to use a lot because there's a lot of meat here. So a good solid 3, maybe even 4 tablespoons on the inside. Make sure you get it around on the sides, and then about a teaspoon of black pepper on the sides, back, and around. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to put butter up under the breast plate. Now I've separated the skin, and I've made some butter and garlic and olive oil mixture here. I'm going to push this up underneath with my spatula and rub it around. That rubber spatula is a great tool, and I get that up around the chicken breast, rub it around, get it on all the sides, and get as much of that in there as I can. I'm going to take this skin here and I'm going to tuck it underneath like so and put that down. Now make sure you haven't pushed your thermometer out. It's in there securely, and with the rest of this, we're just going to put it over the top of the bird and we'll rub it all over. Now there's no way around this. You're going to get a little messy, but it's what makes this so delicious and good. So we'll rub this over the top, on the legs, along this leg, in the front, the breastplate. Make sure you get the wings as well. Everything's coated, and do the bottom side too, okay? And this is messy, to say the least. All right, so scrape off the excess off your fingers, get it in there. Of course, you're gonna need to wipe down your hands. And let's go get this into our oven. We've got it preheated to 350 degrees. I'm heading over. One last little step before we get this bird in the oven here. We're gonna take our mirepoix of celery, onion, and carrots. I'm gonna spread it out underneath. That'll be great for the drippings and the gravy. And then we're gonna put a little tint over it so we don't burn it. Put that like so. In our turkey goes. Make sure you keep an eye on it while it's in the oven. Turkey's in the oven. Let's get our turkey broth going. We've got the turkey neck, heart, and gizzard. There's a couple bay leaves there. If you don't have those, don't worry about it. A lot of garlic, as much as you want. You can't put too much in. Again, we've got our carrots, onions, and celery. In it goes. And then we're going to take 2 tablespoons of salt and put it in here. We'll bring this to a boil, skim off the foam, and that'll be the base for our gravy. Now's a good time to start your side dishes. We're gonna do some candied yams or sweet potatoes, and we're just gonna sprinkle a little bit of butter over the top. This is about, say, a quarter of a stick of butter. To that, I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt, and I make sure I spread that butter out evenly, and then a light dusting of pepper. And make sure you hold your hand up high. To this, I'm gonna add my brown sugar and just sprinkle that over the top. And we're trying to keep it simple because there's too much going on Thanksgiving. Get that covered, and we'll bake these with the aluminum foil on top until the last 15 minutes. Let's get it in our oven there. There we go. Bird's looking good. Another thing to get going now are the potatoes. We've got 3 pounds of russet potatoes peeled, and I'm putting them in cold water. And mashed potatoes, people overthink them all the time. It's really simple. We're gonna go with a heavy dose. See, about at least a tablespoon of salt in there. If your dietary needs keep you restricted, don't. Bring this to a boil and simmer for 20 minutes. Skimming the foam off the top of this broth is essential if you want a clear broth. So you have to do this a couple times as the broth comes to a boil. Pumpkin pie, a tradition at Thanksgiving. So a couple eggs, we've got our spices, we've got cinnamon, clovers, as well as just a little bit of sugar there, salt, as well as the ginger. I'm gonna mix this all together with those eggs. To this, I'm gonna add heavy cream, about a cup, not about, it is a cup. And we're gonna make sure we get it all in there. Now, some recipes call for condensed milk. I just like to use the fresh milk instead, and we're gonna add a half cup of fresh milk. To that, I'm gonna put my pumpkin puree in here. This is for 1 pumpkin. If you want 2, you can double the recipe. take that and mix it in. Now you want to make sure you incorporate everything very well, and this is that traditional pumpkin recipe that we see everywhere. There's a lot of different versions of this, but this is the most basic rudimentary. I've made my pumpkin crust in advance, and I like to pre-bake mine so it's a little bit crisper on the inside. I'll take like that, and we'll pour it in gently. We'll use our rubber spatula to get all the ingredients out. Now this is going to puff up, okay? It's going to swell up a little bit, and so it'll fill up around the sides. And this is ready to go in the oven. I like to get this in the oven while the turkey's cooking so it has a chance to cool. All right, the oven is rocking for that turkey there. I just checked it, it's doing fine. Let's gently put this in. This has got to be careful because it wants to slosh. Put that in, close that up, and we're good to go. Now is a perfect time to take care of these potatoes. Let's go ahead and drain them off so we get all that water to evaporate off. And then we'll mash them, and then we can just put a lid on them and rewarm them. While your potatoes are still hot, we're going to add a half a stick of butter in there, and we're going to mash these. This will really be to your preference, how creamy these are. We're going to incorporate the butter into that, and we'll mash these up till we're pretty much ready to add our milk, which will take just another minute or two. All right, these are to the consistency I like. Now, this is the tricky part. Do not add too much milk. And I'm using whole milk here. We're going to put a little bit in, stir it around, and you see how fast that starts to come together? Just a little bit more milk, and I think we'll have it. You don't want to get them too creamy. You can never get them uncreamy. Looks pretty good to me. Let's give it a quick taste. A little more salt. I'm not going to add any pepper. I'm putting in about a half a teaspoon of salt into that, and that'll do it. Put the lid on it and warm these up when we're ready to eat. What would Thanksgiving dinner be without cranberry sauce? Now, I suppose you could buy it, but it's so easy to make, it's ridiculous. I've got my whole cranberries, that's one bag. We're putting in water, sugar, a pinch of salt. We're going to turn this to high, and then we're going to take sliced oranges, put those in with the zest of orange. Once this comes to a boil, I'll turn it down and I'll mash my cranberries. All right, I've removed the whole oranges from our cranberry sauce, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a mash here. This is all good and ready to go. We can turn that heat off. Let's slide over to the stuffing here. I've got 1 stick of butter. We've got a cup of celery and a cup of onions. We'll saute these until they're lightly wilted. Let's put the stuffing together. Take a look at those onions and celery, how nicely it's sauteed. Just pour that right on the top of the stuffing there. And then to that, I'm going to add my beautiful turkey broth instead of buying it at the store. We'll put this in, and we're just going to toss it. And then it's going to go in our baking dish, and we're going to put it in the oven for 45 minutes before our turkey is ready to go. I mean, look how easy that comes together. Another nice little toss. In we go. And you know, you could spruce this up a little bit with something else if you wanted to put some bacon or sausage in there. You could go with that. Give it a little shake, put the foil on, and 45 minutes before we pull the bird, that will go in the oven. Time is now compressing. Let's get this stuffing in the oven there. And I'm also going to pull the foil off my bird. It's looking like it's starting to get golden brown. I'll keep a close eye on it. All right, our turkey is looking finished. How beautiful is that thing right there? Absolutely spectacular. Our thermometer's out. We'll take it and tilt it just a little bit here. Get it up over there. And we're gonna let it rest. Let's make sure we tent that turkey so it stays nice and warm. We'll get the gravy rolling here. I've got my pan on medium-high. And I'm going to add a couple ladles of the turkey broth to this to deglaze the pan and get all the goodness out of those vegetables. All right, so we've got these vegetables. They got to come out so we can make our gravy. A little tedious here, but we'll get them all out, and then we'll be able to make the gravy by having just that beautiful broth left behind. I like this spatula, which is kind of made for doing this exact job right here. It's able to pull out most of the vegetables that are in there and leaving the juices behind. As you can see, you just got to be patient to make sure you get it all. Might even have to use your fingers a little bit. But once you get it all out, then you'll be ready to go. Make sure you get the little burn pieces out. A little bit more to ladle out there. Okay, so now we're ready to make this into some gravy here. Add a little bit more turkey broth to it. One more for good luck, yeah? There we go. All right. So this is going to come back to a slow simmer. And what we're going to do now is over our flame right here, we're going to add in our flour and water mixture. And we're going to put in about half of it. And then we'll see what that does to this. Now, as far as seasoning, at this point, I would hold off on putting in salt, but we are going to add our giblets, which are the kidneys, the livers, the hearts, and the neck meat. You don't have to use it all, but it's in there. And to this, I'm going to add just a dash of Worcestershire. Don't need much of that stuff. It's very, very powerful. And so we'll simmer this for about 3 or 4 minutes till it starts to thicken up, or if we need to add more of that flour water mixture. So our gravy is theoretically done. We're going to give it a little taste, and it doesn't need anything. Just about time to serve it up, so I've gone ahead and sauteed my shallots. They're going to go with the green beans. I've got some heavily salted water back here. In go the green beans. I'm cooking them at the last minute so they keep that bright green color. The green beans are the last step. Let's strain these off. Give them a good shake to get all that water off. Now I've got my shallots over here that have already been sauteed. A little bit of butter right there. We're going to give this a little toss and go serve this up because everything's ready. All right, we've got the green beans done. Everything else is pretty much good to go here. It's a lot of work, I got to tell you that. I'm not looking forward to the real Thanksgiving. The star of the show, turkey, turned out spot on. Let's take these off, and the steam is rolling out of those, looking pretty good. So let's go over what we did here. Really quite impressive for $48+ in change. So I really like the meal we've come up with. Of course, you got to have stuffing with Thanksgiving, and then we've got our candied yams or sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes. Look at how beautiful those turned out, and a little butter and parsley on top. Homemade cranberry sauce. You can't have turkey without cranberry sauce. Our beautiful gravy that we whipped up. We even had room on the budget for some bread dipping into that gravy. Those beautiful green beans, we got those shocked at the very end, so they stayed bright green. And of course, pumpkin pie, and we had room for whipping cream. So I got to tell you what, it was a tough task, but we put it all together for $48 and change. Looking good for Thanksgiving. Hopefully this will be a guide for you. Happy Thanksgiving.